Today, I am going to show you guys how to create a rate watch campaign, right? How to use groups and how to use them as triggers, and how if there are people who are watching rates, you can make sure that you're staying in front of them, okay? So there's a couple different ways that we can do it, and you can choose based on however you would like to have it set up. Now, if you want to do the easiest way possible, okay, I'll show you that first. Okay, so in BNTouch, our top menu here is kind of our main menu. So we're gonna head over to our marketing tab, and then we're gonna go into our content exchange. Content exchange has quite a bit of things in here. It has campaigns done by BNTouch, and it has campaigns by other users, okay? Obviously, there's the keep in mind other people create these, so you're going to want to review them. But in BNTouch, these are pretty ready for you to go. Now, if you selected the general marketing when you signed up for BNTouch, you got a lot of campaigns added. Some people did not opt into our weekly market update. So you're going to want to type in the word weekly here. Make sure you're in the content exchange under campaigns, and you're going to hit search, okay? And here is where you've got your weekly market update. Now, this is going to send out a weekly market update with news feeds that get pulled in, as well as the average for your 30-year and your 15-year rate and how much that's changed. It is beautifully branded, and it is kind of an opt-in to click through to the information. So if that's something that you want to create for somebody, you would select that. And I've already got this added to my platform, but you would then click here, add to my platform, and then I'll show you what to do next, okay? So I do recommend adding yourself to the campaign so that you can see what exactly that particular campaign would look like. So add yourself to the campaign so that you can see, and then if you decide that's what you like, you're going to go into that campaign and we're going to set up some triggers. Now, before we set any triggers, if this is going to be for a group of rate watch folks, first we have to give them that delineation, okay? So I'm going to go into my mortgage groups, okay? So I'm going to first click on the plus button as if I'm creating a new contact, and then I'm going to click on my manage groups, okay? If I'm not the admin, this is how it's going to look, but you can still add your own personal groups. If you are the admin, then this will all look very editable to you, okay? So either way, you're going to want to come down here, and I've already added my rate watch group, okay? But if you don't have a rate watch group, or whatever you'd like to call them, market updates, what have you, you're going to add that group in here and click update groups, okay? That's going to be our trigger. So then what you would do, if there's anybody that you want to add to that rate watch group, you're going to go into your pipeline and you're going to find the people who are watching rates. They might be leads, they might be prospects, they might be an application. It really depends on how your current system's set up. But for this particular demo, we've got all these pretend leads here in our leads category. And if I want to say, okay, all these people I want to put on Rate Watch, now that I've got that group added, I'm going to go through and I'm going to select them, okay? And then I'm going to click Actions for Selected Records, hit Move Records, and then you're going to add them to the Rate Watch campaign or the Rate Watch group, okay? If you want to remove them from all the other groups, you select that. But once you're going to add them to that Rate Watch group, okay? So now we have all the people that we want in the Rate Watch group, okay? The next step is going to be going to that campaign that we added, our weekly market update here. And I'm going to click on her. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add the trigger. Okay, I've got it in here as group equals rate watch. So I'm going to show you how I do that. I'll delete it and show you from the start. So if I want to add somebody to this campaign, once I put them in the Rate Watch group, I'm going to create a new mortgage trigger, okay? These are for your clients, all your client records. You click on New Mortgage Trigger, and then this is where I create those automations and those rules. So I'm going to say when the group contains Rate Watch is what I want to trigger it. Say, Monica, I want to be able to stop it. Okay. We just take the group away when you want them to stop. Okay. So when I say when the group does not contain Rate Watch. Okay. So the group Rate Watch adds them. And if they're not in the group Rate Watch, it will remove them. And you say, but Monica, what if I need a second trigger to remove them? Like I want it to be so that I can manually stop it, but I also want it to be automated. So once they apply or they're in process, they're not getting these weekly reminders. No problem. This is a pro tip for you in BNTouch. Okay. So if you need to add a secondary removal tool, you can. A secondary removal trigger. Click Add Trigger, New Mortgage Trigger. And because we don't need a new on-ramp, we're going to put some dummy information in here so that you can create that second rule. And I'm going to put in borrower's first name equals a bunch of numbers that will never actually be real, right? There's never going to be a borrower named 41899, whatever I typed in here, okay? So that gets rid of that extra onboarding, and we can add in that second removal trigger here. So if I want to remove them once they're in the marketing sequence application or in processing, you can go is equal to, or you can do greater than or equal to, right? In processing. So if I choose greater than or equal to, and it's going to turn off if they're in processing, if they're a funded loan, long-term follow-up, or cancel, because it's this and beyond. If you just wanted to turn off for in processing, this one would be equal and it would just be in processing, whichever works best for you. And you can make this application, you can make it whatever you want. But now, once it hits that milestone or once it hits that marketing sequence and BNTouch, it will stop that Rate Watch communication. Okay. Now we're going to say, isn't that going to continue to repeat itself because the group's going to stay there? Okay. We have a way for you to remove the group via a campaign. And I'm going to get in the weeds a bit. So if that's not something you're interested in doing and you're fine with going in and removing the group yourself, great. But you can create campaigns to remove groups when they hit a particular milestone or sequence. So in here, let's say I want the Rate Watch group to be removed. If I could spell better, that would be helpful. Okay. And this is just going to be a rule campaign. And rule campaigns are basically automating different things to happen in different fields. Okay, so in here, I'm going to create this campaign for the rule. Then in here, instead of adding an email step or adding an SMS step or something here that's going to send out communications or creating a task, we're going to update a field. Okay, so this is automatically BNTouch, but if it's more aesthetically pleasing to you, you can change the set to self so that you are not worried this is going out to a borrower or anything. And then you're just going to add a little title to what's happening here. Remove group. Okay. And then you're going to come down here and you're going to select remove from group. Okay. And then from that removal, you will say, I want to remove Rate Watch. That's the only step this is. This is the only thing in this campaign. And you want to make sure that anybody that you add to this, it makes sense for, right? So the only thing that happens in this campaign is to remove the group Rate Watch, okay? And you're going to do that by adding a trigger here. So anybody, any mortgage record that is going into, all right, so now when somebody goes into processing, it's going to remove the group, okay? So that way you don't have to worry about manually going back in and doing that. So if it goes into processing, it will remove the group, therefore it will remove them from that campaign. So this is how you would remove that group. Now this can be applied for pre-approved, right? If you want to have everybody in your pre-approval status, you would do the same thing. You're going to create that group called pre-approval. If you don't already have a pre-approved group, okay? You're going to go to your mortgage records. I'm assuming they would all be under applications. And you would go in and just like this again, select who's in your pre-approved, hit move records, okay? And this is where you're going to add that pre-approved group, move records, and they are now added to pre-approved, okay? Then you would create that pre-approved campaign. And if you don't have one, and there are some in BNTouch you can look for. Oops, I think mine is called shopping. Yep, so here's my shopping borrower campaign. 120 days. I've added some tasks into myself so that I remember to follow up with everybody that's pre-approved. And you can add one in here at the bottom if you want to send you a notification once it hits 120 days that pre-approval is expired. Whatever it is that you want to do, great. But if you want to have a particular campaign automated, great. You can have them in the pre-approved, and you're going to want to make sure that you've got it dialed into what you want it to look like. Okay, so these are a little extra, so let me delete these. So here you would come into that campaign and create your new triggers. So I'll come in here, add new mortgage trigger. And again, this is going to be the group contains pre-approved, because you can be in more than one group. So we don't want it to only equal pre-approved. We want to make sure it says contains. You may ask live questions right here in the chat. That would be amazing. And then you're going to want to have a rule, again, just like we did before. Sure, as soon as I finished here, I'll happily. You're going to say, I want to have this removed once it hits a marketing sequence of in processing, because we don't want them to get pre-approved communications once they're under contract. So I'm going to say, once they're in processing or beyond, we stop the pre-approved campaign. If you also want to have the group not be pre-approved, make it stop, we can add that in just like we did for the others. Okay, so that kind of setting up a group, adding that group, and that being kind of how you're getting people to different campaigns and how you're sorting them, etc. So if you decide that you want to do, let's say you're interested in doing self-employed loans, okay? And you want to use a campaign for everybody that's in a loan that's for self-employed. Now, however you track that within your system, wherever that is in your database, and whether that's in the loan type or the loan program, the best thing that I would suggest doing to get to know these is to understand all of the different fields within BNTouch. So in your mortgage search, you can search by many, many things, okay? So if you are looking for people who had a mortgage with you, that is a purchase, okay, you would search then by anybody that's a purchase, right? And then you can select all and add them to that campaign, okay? You can add them to groups, you can, delineate them however you choose. If you want to send out a loan campaign based on the type, you can do that here as well. So if you have a lot of people who have FHA loans and you want to go in and find anybody that's got an FHA loan, if the data is there, this is the place you're going to go to find it. Not up here, this guy in the top right, that's just going to give you an entire platform search and not put them in a list. When you want to find people who meet certain criteria, you're going to want to use the magnifying glasses next to the contact record type. So this magnifying glass, if I want to find everybody who's done a VA loan, you come here to the type and hit search. Okay, and this would, if I had actual borrowers in here, that would populate there. How do you get to custom search? No problem. So this here is the magnifying glass. We'll get you to this search here. And this, you can just pull in whatever fields that you want to search for, okay? And it does give you access to all of them. So as specific as you want to be, assuming the data is in your BNTouch, you can search for quite a lot of things. So if you want to, say you want to search for people who you've added this information on. If you want to search for people who closed a loan with you and they had, it was a investor, you've got new investor products. This is what you're going to want to do. You're going to come over here to the magnifying glass, or you're going to go all the way to this little search guy at the end of your pipeline view. Okay, so this takes you to the same place as this. And the nice part about it is that it puts it in a nice little list at the bottom, whereas the other just gives you different contacts to click into. So if I wanted to say, so it's going to put it into this format where you can make selections and add when you're using these different search functions. Okay, so I'm going to go into a different demo to show you what that looks like. So down here at the bottom, it lists them in a list here, okay? So if you want to be able to see them in a list this way, merge records, do different things, add them to campaigns, that's gonna be the way you want to search, okay? Is this magnifying glass here, or you can go directly to this search tab in your pipeline view. On the right side, okay? You have two main views that you're added to, with your pipeline is that middle squiggle, and the left view is that group. All right, so the next thing I'm going to show you is how you can create also communications via text. If you want to, you say, I don't want to use that market update, Monica. I want to be able to do it myself, but I do want the averages. So I'm going to go into Mickey Mouse here. There's a lot of different ways you can set up your SMS templates, but the easiest way is to come in here. Oh, we don't have a cell phone number. Hold on, we've got to add Mickey's phone number in. So we're going to go to our SMSs, and you'll notice up here, there are templates, okay? So if you want to create some sort of rate watch template, you can, okay? And you say, how does that work? Well, I'm going to pause, and I'm going to come over here to our options, and then I'm going to come down to this cool little button under our options called meta tags listings, okay? These are all the different fields, and we can have fun with fields in more ways than one, okay? So obviously you can pull in their first name, you can pull in any field that's within the website, you can put in all the different fields that you have in BNTouch. But we also have the ability to, you'll see that it's broken out into different tabs here. If you want to pull in the national average rates in a text message, all you need to do is add in the meta tag. Okay, so if I want to add this information in, cool. I'm going to go back to my Mickey Mouse here. Go into SMS. And then I'm going to add in, you're going to get the meta tag for the client name. Come back here, can open that in a new tab. So if I come into my meta tags, listings, and I want to personalize it, and I want the first name, this is what I'm going to use, my client name 1. Okay, come back over here. Here is your weekly market update. And then you can add in the different 30 years. You can, you don't necessarily need to keep this tag on it. You can put it in front of it. You can say 30, you can say 15, and you can do 5-year ARM. Delete these. And then put your name so they know it's you. You can attach your V card, which is like your digital business card. And then you can add it as an attachment. Now, if you want to add in any information or image or anything, you certainly can. But this is where you would add it as a template. And you're going to say weekly, spell it better than me though, rate update. Okay. And if you're the admin, you can share this template with all users. And if you're not, you can just save as a template here with you. Okay. So now if I want to send this to Mickey Mouse, I certainly can, but I can also use this template to come into my mortgage records. And if I wanted to send that to everybody in my leads, I certainly could. Okay. You're going to want to make sure that if you don't have on, there should be a bulk SMS here. Hold on, let me add that. So not everybody has the SMS bulk button here, but we can certainly add it. I'm trying to show you guys that would be in here. If you don't have the bulk SMS send button, just let us know and we can get that added, assuming you have the SMS on your user. You would reach out to your admin to see if they can add that to your view. And it's a pretty simple click of the button that our support team can get added to that. All right, so we have that for your rate watch. Now there's some other fancy tools that we can do, assuming you have SMS in your platform, okay? Now, let's say that you decided you wanted to add something to that template for the SMS. If you want to send them what the rates are, but you also want to give them the option to opt into your newsletter or opt into some sort of campaign. Okay, we're going to go in the weeds a little here. You're going to go to your options and click on voice. And you're going to say, Monica, what are we doing first? No problem. We have this thing called SMS triggers. Okay. And these SMS triggers are going to say, this is the campaign I want you to start. Okay, for all users. When the SMS body contains, let's say, rate watch, or yes, or rate, Okay, so if you were to send that SMS out, right, and you wanted to add to it, so let's go back to Mickey Mouse. Now I can either select from the existing template or I can create a new one. If I want to send out a blast to everybody that's in my leads or prospects that says, hey, and then you put in that meta tag, there has been talk of market movement. Want me to add you to my rate watch? Reply rate, and I will add you to keep you in the loop. Okay, so you want to add your V card, name. Now, if you wanted to send this out, okay, cool. You can add it as a template. Call it whatever you want. We'll save it as a template. Now, we would come back into these triggers, and I would make it say so that when somebody responds with either contains or exactly matches, contains is a little bit looser, so in case they don't spell it or add other words to it, we want to make sure that we are capturing it. So now what will happen is if somebody responds with rate, it's going to automatically add them to that weekly market update. Okay, so I add that trigger here, and now when somebody responds with the word rate, it's going to add them to the weekly market update. Now you can do the same thing with yes, you can use any words you want to trigger any campaign that you want within your platform. It's just a fun and easy automated way to help folks out. Now, we've talked a lot about borrowers, and I want to kind of pivot over to the partner side. You can create the same type of thing and the same type of rules for your partners. If you want to put your partners in a weekly market update, and you can use the exact same steps that I showed you with the groups and everything. You're just going to use partner triggers instead of mortgage triggers for that group. Okay, so the exact same workflow is possible with your partners. But there's some other really cool things I want to make sure that you guys are utilizing within your platform. Okay, so in your partner records, go back on over to me. So in each partner record, you can go into a portal, and we hear a lot, well, the partners don't do it. You have to basically do it for them. Okay, great. If you are creating co-branded 1003s, if you want to create co-branded open house forms, if you want to create co-branded single property sites, if you want to create any of that, you can do that in the portal on their behalf and provide it to them. Okay, if they never use your portal, that's okay. There are still tools in there that you may want to use, and I'm going to show you that. Okay, so we're going to click to visit in here. Now, the kind of top ones, if you can't get your agent to use your portal, that's fine. But these two guys down here at the bottom are actually going to be super helpful. Okay, this is that open house form, which is just the opportunity for you to capture the information of people attending open houses. Okay, so you can choose what information you want to select. If I decide I don't want that one anymore, I can delete it. If I only want a certain amount, if I want to add in questions about their credit score, what they think their credit score could be, you can certainly add in any of those fields to collect that data, whether it's an open house or if they're hosting a customer appreciation, attending a CE class. These are really great to capture those folks. So if it's an open house, maybe you want to add in the credit self-rating and whatever it is that you want to do, you certainly can. And we do have 5 different templates that you can choose from at the bottom. And whenever you're ready, you would hit generate. Here you go. Now, this has a QR code that you can easily save that image as, right? And then you can use that QR code to, whether you're putting it on flyers, whether you're putting it on sign writers or whatever it is, if you're trying to capture leads, this will co-brand, right? So here's Monica, the pretend loan officer, and here's just the partner contact I selected, but it would have both of your information on it, right? Now, there's a couple different ways that you can use our web forms, but this is kind of the best way that I would suggest for your partners, is going directly into their partner portal and selecting from the different people they participated as, and providing a different template depending on your preferences. Now, we also have property sites. So we've added some cool new features to our property sites, just as some enhancements, if you will. And this can pull in properties from the MLS, okay? Just need to add in the date, et cetera, et cetera. And then you get this beautiful single property site that looks just like this, okay? And it will pull in the data from the MLS. It will pull in the square footage. It will pull all this in. And my point about the builders is that these ranges do have the ability to be ranges, okay? So these different data fields. So for example, if a builder you're working with, you want to create a single property site for all the sites that's co-branded with you and the builder, you can add in ranges. So 3 to 5 bedrooms or 2,000 to 4,000 square feet. They're very flexible. You can add in your own images. You can add in all those different things. But the best part about it is it does provide you with all this really cool information with respect to the neighboring areas, the maps, the area details, and then it's got your partner over here, and it would have your sweet little face over here. You've got loan comparisons. Now you say, I really want to make sure that I've got the right information in the loan comparison. Okay, go to your options and type in portal, and you can play with some of the different calculators and the rules, the tax rates, all that stuff, so it makes more sense for your area. Okay, so you go to options, type in portal. The first one that pops up is borrow, then click into partner, and then you can change it. I'll show you how to get to those settings, borrower and partner portals. Right now we're in the client loan portal. If I go to the partner portal, don't try and say it 10 times real fast. You've got some fun things in here, okay? You can customize their portal, but down here you can allow for them to add in a custom tax rate, okay? You can toggle between calling it a pre-approval or pre-qualification tab, right? So there's quite a bit of things you can do for your portal, your partner portal in there, okay? You can also customize your client loan portal in here. Now, when I came into my partner portal here, you'll notice we have a co-branded 1003 link. Now that is automatically added to all of your partners. If you want to really show them something, you can use this co-branded link, okay? Now, yes, I will show you again where I was customizing the loan portal. One moment. And if you want to use this co-branded 1003 link, okay, you can copy that, drop it in here, okay? And this is going to be something else that you can do. I don't have Tiffany's picture in here, but you can see I've got this co-branded lead capture, okay? Now, from any computer, you can right click and you can hit create QR code for this page. So if you wanted to add a QR code to sign writers, to open house flyers, to marketing material about properties, you can put this on here. And let's say you want to put it on a sign writer or something, or put it on the property, somebody drives by, they can take their phone out, scan that QR code, fill in their information, and start on a campaign, okay? Or start the application in this sense. So you can download that here from any computer for the most part. You can download a QR code just by clicking onto the page, right-clicking onto the page and click Create QR Code, okay? So if you want that co-branded application link anywhere, you can do that. You can also copy it and hyperlink it to any of your communications that you have with a borrower in common. Now, I got a request to customize the loan portals, no problem. You're going to go to options. Okay, and so this is going to set up that integration with those national averages that we automatically pull into the platform. So it'll have your 30, your 15, et cetera, built right in. Okay, and where those, it updates overnight, so don't expect it to happen as soon as you update it and hit save changes. Tomorrow morning is when you would see that change if you didn't have that set up correctly, okay? And where you will see that is not only in your daily digest, but in this alerts dashboard, okay? And then you can come in here and you can select all and send an email. You can send an SMS. Do I include loan officer web within your BNTouch package? If you're referring to a website, we do have websites, but they are not included in the BNTouch general user. It's an additional module, an additional charge, if I answered your question. I think it's like $30. In order to see what it is, you would come up here and click on modules. And these are all the additional modules you can add to your BNTouch. Okay, so if you do decide that you want to add that, you certainly can. And you would just come in here and each module has all the different things that you can do or add on to your platform. We have websites, we have landing pages within those websites, we have intelligence alerts, we have quite a bit. So here's the website under marketing. Can I set up a rate alert? Yes, so but those would be manual, Patrick. So in your options here, I'll show everyone. If you want to have them be more specific or set up your own alerts, you're going to go to options, type in refi and add your rate refi minor. Okay, this is free. It comes with your platform. You're going to want, if this is off, turn it to on. And then once it's active in your dashboard, you will see this additional tab. Okay. And this is where you can configure your own. You click on configure and you can come in here and it's got them all individually broken out. But you would need to add in the rate that you would want them to be. This is not an integration. This is something that you would manually configure. If you're just trying to see the averages for 30, 15, and 5, that would be my best suggestion. But if you have particular ones that you want to set up for, you can certainly add those in. You don't have to just use ours. You can add an alert. So if you wanted to set up a HELOC alert, you could do that here. You could add in the criteria to the different configurations if you want to change the loan type. If you have HELOC in here or however your platform is set up to show, you certainly can. So some people have it in the type, some people have it in the loan program. So it's just a matter of where your data is as to how you would set those up. But you would have to kind of set up the criteria and the configuration. It's not going to be a direct integration necessarily like the 30 and the 15 and the 5-year averages are. The borrower information, when you're talking about creating first payment emails, when you're talking about creating borrower welcome, a lot of the information is already in your platform. So to be able to come in here and plug these in to save you some of that time on the front end, whether it's a title order request, whether it's a borrower or a realtor welcome, and you can really use meta tags to save you some time and automate a lot of those different types of things. So what I mean by that is if I wanted to create a borrower welcome, you would come in here to your marketing and go to your templates, okay? And if I want to create a welcome email, I certainly can. Come here, add new template. I can use the email constructor, or I can do it right here. And then from in here, I could add in different meta tags. Now there's a ton of them. So if you're looking for one in particular, my suggestion is Control F. And I want to say, let's say I want to say to the borrower or the realtor, the property address, right? So I'm going to find the street. You could come down here and find the property. Let me try property street, see if that's faster. There we go. So here's our property street. If I want to talk about the property street address, I can set up my template to say, congratulations. We are officially in contract for the purchase of, and then you just drop that meta tag in there. So you now have this automatically go out. Now you can add in additional details and say, hey, send me copies of the earnest money. Let me know if there's addendums. I need all of my purchase contract. Add in here whatever you want. But then you can automate this in a template or in a campaign to go out once they hit that milestone, right? So using those meta tags to pull all that data in will save you from having to say, hi, my name is Monica and I am the mortgage loan officer on the property at blah, blah. So far I have the client's name. We can pull all of that in here. Now, if you don't want to keep your meta tag screen open, just select from the tag here, okay? Right in the email canvas. So you can come in here and you can do a quick search. So if I want to look for client's name combined and say, okay, so now this says we're in contract for the purchase of 123 Main Street for Monica Alley, okay? So you can use those meta tags to save yourself some time, okay? Pretend we've got everything that we want here, okay? So once you've got that template added, let's say, you can come to create your new campaign. Welcome letter in processing. Make sure you've got the settings with what you want, because you don't want it to be only one per client, because you're probably going to get lots of loans from them, right? Then you would add that step in, go to email, and you can, for this particular campaign, you're going to remove the default because we're going to use the template we created. So we get rid of the default template, hit apply, go back to our steps automatically, add that email in, and now you can see the template is available to select. And then I would just come down here and select that welcome letter, okay? You would hit copy here and it would drop it in here, however you've got it set up. And then you are all set. You hit add step. You have to add a subject line, but you would be, when you're in the email creation, okay, there's a few different things you're going to want to make sure of. If you want it to go automated automatically, you're going to want to make sure that the auto send is on. If you want it to go to your campaign dashboard before it releases, you remove the automatic. Some people like to do that until they feel comfortable with the automations. That's totally fine. You can come in here and remove that button, okay? And then your campaigns will populate in your campaign dashboard here instead of automatically sending. So if you want to see them before they go, you would just need to remove that automation and they will populate in here where you can release them as you are going in and dispositioning them or individually evaluating if you're good with what's sending. Couple other fun things I want to point you guys to. Lots of folks say, I really just want to have my signature look like I sent it from my email. I don't want to use a predefined template. totally get that, okay? So under our predefined templates is where you're gonna go. You see, that doesn't make any sense. You just said I don't have to. Well, you don't, but you do. Okay, we have one that's blank with indents, okay? And that's gonna be the one that you want to select, okay? Select that as your main one, okay? Then you're gonna go into the templates and you're gonna find that one, and it's called like Z blank indents, okay? You're gonna come over here to her and you're gonna click edit. Now, yours doesn't say logo on top of it. Yours probably just says text. Cool. Let me delete this one so I can walk you through it. It looks like this, okay? If you're following along, this is what it should look like. If you want to simply add your logo to the top, cool. Add a row before. We're gonna find that meta tag for logo, which we do have. Type in logo, my logo. I add that there. And then if I just want to add my signature underneath the text with my picture, cool. We're going to go here and we're toggle over that bottom table. We're going to add here. So down here after the text, this would automatically pull in the text from the email, okay? And then this here is where you're going to want to add your signature in your image, okay? So I'm going to add in my signature. And then I'm going to, underneath it, drop in my image, okay? Now, if you are hitting the return button and it's giving you that, yep, that happens. So you're gonna hit Shift, Enter, for it to go right underneath it. Just a little format fun for you. Now you click Update Template, and now that has been updated. So now if I come over here to any of my marketing campaigns and I want to see if that applied, I could easily click here and see here's my logo, here's my email, here's my signature, and here's my cute face, okay? So that is how you would set up those templates to look most like a normal email signature. Now, manually selecting campaigns, I was asked to do, pardon my pop-up, you're going to go to the people you're looking for, okay? So if you are going to all your leads, if you're going to your prospects, or if you're searching for a particular type of people, you would click on the search button here. Again, not up here. This one is just, that follows you on every page. It's for both partners, it's for clients, it's for recruiting, it's all of that is what this search is for. If you're looking for a client record specifically, or lots of client records specifically, you're gonna magnifying glass. So from this view, you're going to want to type in whoever you're looking for. So if I'm coming to the basic search or the system, if I want to go to everybody that's in my funded loan marketing sequence, and I would hit search here. Okay, I don't have anybody in my funded loans in my demo. So for me, I'm going to go to leads, or I'm going to search by first name does not contain, simply because I'm trying to show you how you would do it. Okay, so here it would populate whatever your search criteria was. And from here, you just select the people that you want, and you can do start campaign. You hit start campaign, and it'll ask you which campaign you want to start and when you want it to start at. If it's now, it's ready, you hit start campaign. Now, if something isn't working how you would envision it working, you're hitting start and it's showing you skip. It's probably a permissions rule. And if at any time you get stuck, you can submit a ticket to our team in the top. If you'd like to attend a live training, say on marketing or campaigns, our training and support page does have a live training, and our training calendar is right here in the BNTouch website. So you can choose from any of these here. Again, I am part of the White Glove service team here at BNTouch, where we can set up and customize your platform for how you operate. So if you aren't interested in diving into the trainings and what have you, and you want us to do it for you, we would be happy to chat. All right, friends, have a great rest of your day. And if that's all there is, I look forward to seeing you again next month.